Monster on the run.
I spent 30 minutes this morning, 30 entire minutes, rebranding our Facebook page from the old your two dads to the internet dads, and updating the logo and all of that, the web URL, and I just hit go stream to Facebook also, and it immediately said no. So that's to be figured out. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Internet Dad Show. I'm Jason. That is Deacon. You can find me on X at Jason Says Things. Also on Instagram, but don't follow me there. There's pictures of my kids, I think. Or do. I don't. It's fine. It's whatever. So I have the stuffy head.
Yep.
Isn't it strange how if you have this slightly stuffy head, say from pollen, that you become like significantly dumber? Like it's just harder to. It's harder to
concentrate and think. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've been that way on the radio for a freaking week now. And you turn on the microphone and you're trying to think and talk and do this and do about 4 things at once, and you really can't. So yeah, I completely understand, dude.
Yeah. Now normally everything around, I mean, we multitask so well around here, and everything is just like always hitting on exactly on cues and stuff. But this morning there might be my dog's trying to murder my wife by being trippable.
Not funny because it's true. Love you.
Good morning. I love you. Good morning. I love you. Joey. Good morning, Joey. Hey, Joey, if you want to come talk on the show, you are welcome, sir. You say the word and also provide a way for me to let you be on the show.
He could come down here, but I wouldn't recommend it. You might get sick. I'm still not feeling the greatest, but
so I was talking to my wife earlier about this stuff, and like, okay, yeah, like your nose is running or whatever, but like you're sick because of the weather, because it's spring and it's pollen. So coming here, not coming here, people are still going to be sick. That's not changing. So come on down.
Yeah, that's
or whatever.
It is that time of year that everyone is going to get sick from something, or if you don't have allergies, you're going to pick it up. And if it's not something from the, pollen and whatnot, it is a spring virus that goes around. So it's not unusual. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Your brain just doesn't work right.
Yeah.
But glad let me tell you another wonderful, wonderful thing here real quick about the springtime that a story time with Deacon here, and you're going to enjoy this one, JJ. So this morning, it's springtime. It's warm outside. All the flowers are blooming. All the critters are coming out and coming to play. And here at the radio station, we have a lot of wires. And so some bugs are attracted to our station, ladybugs and stink bugs. And
it's stink bug season for you.
Stink bug season here. And so I reached over this morning, and I reached over to grab this microphone over here. Yeah. And I grabbed this cable, and I could feel my hand was on something, and I'm like, what is this on this cable? Is this a clip? Is this a plastic clip that I've left on this cable? And I wasn't looking at it. I just kind of reached my hand over nonchalantly and grabbed the cable. And I realized that the plastic clip moved in my hand, and I looked, and it was a freaking stink bug in my hand.
Smash that, dude. Just squish it, get rid of it, kill it. It'll be gone.
Let me tell you what I had to do. I went and scrubbed my hands, scrub with soap. I could still smell it. I've got an old candle in here that I opened and rubbed my hand all in the wax and rubbed it all over my hand, because I can still smell the candle wax. That stink bug smell to me is,
you didn't even squish it. So it's just by its like proximity and touch. So it's you
don't need to squish it. It will let you know if it. You don't need to squish it to get the stink. That's its defense.
It did a skunk smell on you. It was like,
dude, But I mean, honestly, if my defense was to fart on you and
Yeah.
a giant hand grabbed me, I would probably start letting them rip, buddy.
Yeah,
You know,
I would
I
too.
didn't mean to squish him. And he didn't get hurt. He went over, I flicked him, and he went over across the room. But
Okay.
so there's.
Well, we have
I know you love
a
stick bugs.
yeah. So we have a number of different stories this morning to talk about, and I thought I would share some life from Texas with you. So not only my neck of the woods, the street across the street from my house was on national news this yesterday. Maybe you heard about it, maybe you didn't. Here is a post from Fox 26 Houston. Multiple cattle are on the loose in I-45. So there was I didn't show that. Sorry. This mouse is so slow to move over here. Look at this here. That's what it's
city folks.
A trailer full of cattle, like 33 steer, because I think these are male cows. 33 steers were being transported to or from the rodeo. The trailer rolled over and they all got out. Now the guy that was driving the trailer was able to put like 25 of them back in there. I guess I don't know how he got the trailer right side up, but 6 or 7 were just they were just like, we're free. We're free and we're gone.
Hell yeah, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, let's go.
They're about to turn us into, if we don't get out of here, they're going to make us hamburgers.
Yeah. No, they're rodeo cows.
So,
if they're rodeo, it depends on what kind of cows they were.
Yeah,
like what the temperament and stuff. If they're rodeo bulls, then yeah, that is probably a dangerous situation because they don't have a nice temperament. They're kept that way on purpose. Rodeo bulls are kept mad on purpose.
Well, yeah, because they're more entertaining to watch them buck and stuff. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to get them domesticated to let them have someone ride on the back of them because some cows do that.
We had our sheriff's department aerial wing out spotting the cows or cattle or whatever, and this is literally they're flying around. This is I will say my house is in that area. So,
did you have any drive-by mooings last night? And then
no, it was all over by the time I got around here. By the time I got home, pretty fun though.
We get cows and gets out of fences all the time around here, JJ.
Yeah, but is it an entire?
They don't call
an entire herd of cattle.
Back up. There might be 2 or 3 cars that get backed up, but that's pretty good traffic back up here on Main Street.
I mean, they literally are on the highway. You know, these are the highways I don't imagine that you where you live drive as fast as where we drive regularly, and that is no down at all.
Crazy stupid drivers.
If you're on I-45 and you're not going 75 to 85 miles an hour, you'd better be out of the left 2 lanes because that's what's happening. So
can I ask a question? I'm not even trying to be a jackass with this question.
Yeah, sure.
How many things in your life, because there will be, but how many things in your life are so important that you need to increase your speed by 10 to 20 miles per hour to get there?
Mm-hmm.
And, put danger to yourself and others only to reduce your time by 5 minutes at most. I just don't understand the need for speed,
Well, I mean, sometimes it's
that's great.
No,
man.
it's not about that. It is literally like everybody. I mean, I'm not sure, and I'm not excusing myself or anyone else actually, but I'm not sure that you really comprehend how many cars are on the road.
No, I do.
it is a river of cars.
A factor into this situation.
Yeah, but the thing
I
is,
hate
you can't
driving
be
to-
you can't be
ahead.
going slow when everyone else is going around you.
And that's
like
the problem.
all of the
Everyone
cars are
else
moving
shouldn't
at a
be
pace.
going 90 miles an hour. But what the problem is, humans are sheep. We are
Mhm.
herd mentality animals. And if you've got
Right.
one guy that steps up and does this, then that's going to influence another person. And then that other person's going to influence 2 more, and then 6
Well,
more, and
no,
then 15
it's-
more. And pretty
it's
soon
about relative
everybody's
motion.
driving.
Mm-mm.
No, I drive on the interstate all the time. I've been driving for
Okay.
almost freaking
I'm sure.
30 plus years. Okay. I've driven in big
Yeah,
cities in those big 8
Yeah, yeah.
lane freaking things. I don't drive on them every day. But I know if the interstate is going 80 miles an hour, you kick it up to 80 miles an hour because
Mhm.
everybody's going 80 miles an hour.
Right. That's
I've
all
done
I'm
that
saying
before. But what I'm saying is, do we all really need to be going that fast to put that much more danger mathematically? With only 10 miles
Okay,
an
so-
hour, the mathematical equation of how much more danger you're put into, with everyone else factored into it going 10 more miles an hour, puts you and your children's lives in a lot more danger going 80
All right.
than it does going 70.
So that's interesting that you bring this up, because you are right. There is a mathematical exchange taking place, but you're not going from
Absolutely.
100% safe at 60 miles an hour
No.
to so there's a curve. There's a curve. And there's an intersection, but it's fuzzy around the middle there. So you might be you may be going from 10% unsafe to 12% unsafe. You know what I mean? Or even less than that, because
I would think it's
even
greater
different
than that. I would think that the mathematical equation of, even if you increased
great
your
question.
speed by 10 miles per hour, that would increase your danger. I would almost say it would double it. Double your chance for, and then you do that, you add that with the equation of every other car around you has increased its speed and danger level to that just by adding 10 miles per hour, because you're going, and we're all blindly trusting these people beside us to not be on our phones and not be on their phones and not be fiddling with the radio and to be paying attention. And hopefully they can see from being blinded by these new halogen lights that every person has to have at least 5 on their fucking cars anymore. You know, the road is a very dangerous place anymore. I hate, and I'm not poking, I mean, I was poking fun at your little cattle thing, but you know, I couldn't imagine. I would not choose to live in a huge city like that. Absolutely not. That would be a torture for me. I don't want to do that. But I understand, you know, having to move and having to do that and whatnot. I was just asking the mathematical question.
No, I think,
You know,
I honestly, so this is I'm kicking
pretty
Rock
soon,
into work mode.
Is it going to be like in 30 years when Jill and Lily have kids? Are they going to be having this argument, except it's going to be, man, everybody's going 90 miles an hour anymore. You know, can you remember when we went 80?
Up until this year, up until this year, in 20 years, it would have been like, our kids don't drive. They just get in the car and the car drives at 80 miles an hour and they just ride in it and wherever they want to go. But because Democrats are crazy, they are now blowing up electric smart cars. So they're putting all of our children at risk, and they're going to have to drive themselves again.
That's okay. I like driving. Driving is fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. It is fun. Vroom. So I told Grok to do some work. So Grok has deep think mode. And because the question you're asking is one that we can actually measure, because we know how often people are in wrecks, we know what speeds that they're going at, and we can basically establish the curve of risk. And maybe we'll be able to, so once it's done here, maybe we'll be able to
that's
see,
good. Yeah. Okay.
You know, maybe it is maybe it is more dangerous, or maybe it's not. Let me tell it to so graph that curve. It's graphing it right now, but I'll show you what it said so far. Let's see. This is of interest to exactly 2 people in the whole planet.
I think this is interesting. This is, yeah, I mean,
all right. So my general question was like, hey, do an analysis of the percentage of risk as a function of speed so we can see how much more danger a given person would be in by increasing from 60 to 80 miles an hour. So it defined this increase in risk over overall danger and risk, and then whatever, it's got a little formula. So I said it says by increasing from 20 to 80 miles an hour, the risk of dying in a crash increases approximately 300%. Oh my god!
Yeah, I figured it would be
but
astronomical.
If it goes from 1% to 3%, okay, that's a 300% change, but it's only it's still very, very small, right? This means that a person is in 4 times as much danger at 80 miles an hour compared to 60 based on commonly cited relationship. Okay, so
that's the only point I'm making, is because I'm an old fogey. I rarely drive over 70 miles an hour on the interstate. There's no need. I will be there 5 minutes later than, I don't want to put myself in that much danger anymore.
Right.
And everybody else on the road. It's not 1990 anymore. When we were driving, the only thing you had to worry about not paying attention to the road was your buddies messing with you or messing with the radio. And it's not like that anymore. No one pays attention. Everybody's bored. They look down at their phone. They're sitting there doing this. And they'll look up at the road and look back. Look up at the road and look back. You don't know how fast. I looked down at the radio that morning and turned it on and looked back up and hit a deer at 70 miles an hour because it wasn't standing there a minute ago. And I didn't look at the radio for 3 seconds. And I looked up and didn't even have a chance to even hit my brakes. Bam.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
it was light
in a rural area. If there's an area where you have wildlife that can get in there, I mean, that's super dangerous. So cities are somewhat optimized for higher speed because we've run out, killed, or eaten all of the animals in the area. So humans are awesome. It does look like I'm asking it to clarify, but it looks like if you're driving at 20 miles an hour, you have a 0.6% or a 0.16% of a chance of dying in a crash at 20 miles an hour. And then at 60 miles an hour, it looks like 1%. And then at 80 miles an hour, it goes up to 4. And every 10-mile increase doubles your risk, according to what it's asking me. So, okay. Anyway, let's move on. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's see. I had some other stories here. We have RFK Jr. is promoting cell phone ban in schools. What do you think about this? If your kid is in school, they get no phones. Cell phone ban. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a.k.a. Worm Brain, a.k.a. that dude has got muscles. Have you seen this guy when he's out there just out on the beach or whatever? He's ripped. He believes that cell phones should be banned in schools due to their negative mental health impacts on teens and education. A survey by Talker Research found that 70% of Americans support banning cell phones in schools, with educational concerns being the main reason. 9 states have enacted bans or restrictions on cell phone use in public, including Arkansas, California, Florida, according to NBC News. What is your knee-jerk reaction to your kid not having a phone at school?
I think he should have access to his phone, but I think the phones should stay off.
But how do you police that?
You just police it. You freaking police it.
Phone off. Yeah. But they're going to cheat.
But here's the problem. Yeah. The teachers can't police it anymore, because what you are fixing to find out is that it is not the same school that we went to 30 years ago. The teachers actually could discipline us and give us consequences for our actions. And teachers cannot do that anymore because they're
Right.
afraid that the kid's going to do something. The kid's going to throw them on social media. The parents are going to throw them on social media. The parents are going to raise a big stink because every news media outlet in the world is frothing at the mouth for a story right now, especially one like this. So they'll jump all
Yeah.
over it. There's so many factors against parents in the public school system anymore. I am a product of the public school system. I had a fantastic school that I went to, but I look back on it now and I didn't learn crap. I had some really good teachers, but I had some
Oh.
really crap teachers. A lot of the stuff
Surely.
that I learned, JJ,
Yeah.
is because I was interested in learning it. And I
Well-
learned it on my own. I had a
Right.
handful of teachers that were true educators, but most of them are babysitters, is all that they are.
I mean,
They're babysitter parrots,
Your
is all that they
primary
are.
education should probably be dominated by basic skills. Learn how to read, learn how to do some math, learn how to learn. Instill
That's the
in kids.
key. Learning
yeah.
how to learn.
Yeah.
We don't teach our children how to learn. And
It
I
is a-
honestly believe that's by design.
I don't think it's by design. It's
Absolutely,
by,
it is. It's Rockefeller. We
no,
could get into that
no.
Rockefeller crap. He created a
No.
bunch of warehouse worker slaves instead of a bunch of free thinkers. We don't have a bunch
Oh.
of people that are backyard engineers like you that could go out to your backyard and go, cool, I want to do this and I want to build this. So I need this and I need this and I need this. Not everybody is like that. And we are trained to not be like that. We're trained to go to school for 8 hours, listen to your bosses, turn in your work, get good grades, get a certificate, do it again next year, do it again next year, do it again next year. Oh, good. You're ready to go to your job for 8 hours a day, turn in your work, make a good grade, go home, That's what we're programmed our kids to do. We're not programming them to think.
I don't really entirely agree with you, and I'll say, and I'll give you
fine.
my reasons why. So, like when I was a kid, when you were a kid, we had TV, but we had kind of had TV. It was like you had to mess with the antenna and stuff.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of my time either outside or somewhere in the house playing with stuff, but we were also poor. So we didn't have, I had toys, but probably a good half of my toys were sticks that I found in the yard because that's the way
That's
it
my
was.
gun stick and that's my sword stick.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So as a byproduct of like circumstance when we were kids, or just the traditional kind of, I don't know, human existence, we just didn't have other things to entertain us. We had to go and entertain ourselves, and part of that is the creative impulse of I want to do something. I don't have it. I'm gonna make it. And I'll tell you, we don't let our kids watch unlimited amounts of TV or have unlimited amounts of tablet screen time or whatever. There's a lot of time where we're no more TV or no more tablet. Real rigid about this. You get an hour and then you better find something else to do. Go do your homework, go play, whatever. My kids are normal, just like anybody else's kids. And they are still young enough that they have, creative impulses, and so they go and make stuff. Sometimes I come home and my kids have made something out of paper or whatever, glue, cardboard boxes, whatever they can, whatever their imagination sets them to.
And that boredom boredom always has fostered creativity. I always hated that line, that old saying. I don't know where it came from. I need to look it up. The idle hands are the devil's workshop. Well,
right.
That you can be said. They could say that about anything, but people use that as a saying like that's the truth. Idle hands are a devil's workshop. No. Idle hands can produce creativity and the idle hands can produce invention. Idle hands is
true.
where we get things from. Boredom is the mother of invention, man. When me and you were bored outside, we need to do this, and I want to figure out some way to do this and throw this damn rock over here across this creek for no other reason than to throw a rock across a creek. And we would have spent 2 weeks devising and cutting boards and sticks and making ropes just to sling a rock across a creek.
Yeah, I'm gonna reinvent a catapult.
And then 30 years later, you're an engineer.
Yeah,
because when you were a kid bored in the woods.
Now, okay, so let's think about some of the modern dimensions of this problem. One, you have you have many households where you have either a single parent or you have 2 parents, but they both have to work. They both have to work because there's so much debt, cost of living, whatever.
Babysitter.
So you have television and tablet babysitter because you have exhausted parents that don't have they don't have any surplus energy to think of a better way to do this. So like, it's fine. And it's really not fine over the long term. That's one dimension. So you have exhausted parents that are resorting, the last resort of, in some cases, maybe it's the first resort because you got bad parents out there, but resorting to using digital entertainment to educate their kids, but their kids are then playing Minecraft or whatever. And then, so that's one dimension of it. So that is not intentional. That's a circumstance, but it could be avoidable. But we have a social system that requires them to work all the time so they can pay off their debt. So, they don't really have. So, debt is slavery. I'm going to just repeat that again and again. I'll probably say that for the rest of my life, is that debt is slavery. If you're in debt, you're a slave, and get out of debt.
JJ, so, if you start thinking about it all the way down, I don't want to get into this. I want you to continue to going, but you don't own anything. Your house is in a trust. Your car's owned by a trust. Your land's owned by a trust. Everything's owned by a trust. When you keep going down and down and down, you don't own anything, and it's by design. Like I said.
Well,
so yeah, I mean,
okay. So now on the education
story.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, the reason I brought it up is because you have older kids.
And that's what I was getting at.
I am not giving my kids phones, so it's not going to be a problem for me.
But my kids go to a high school that had a shooting.
Yeah,
and I can't. And I want my child to have access to a phone at all times. If I pay for the phone, I want him to have access to it. But I understand that he is at school and his job is to learn. Turn the phone off unless you need it. He shouldn't have to go somewhere else to get the phone in case of an emergency. Okay? It's just the world that we live in today. We didn't live in that world. But this is the world that our children live in. And let me tell you, another world that we didn't live in, that our children live in, is the fact that they do have a cell phone on them at all times. The cell phone now has AI, and there are calculators in your pocket. So we don't need to keep the mentality of the teachers that taught us on, you got to learn it yourself because you got a calculator in your pocket.
I don't agree with that.
We need to educate our children that, look, you need to learn this and know this stuff in your head to be a better person and to be knowledgeable. But you have the tool to ask this thing to do anything for you, and it will. So let's utilize this so that your generation is better at using these tools that my generation didn't have. I catch myself all the time. Alex will say something to me. This happens used to happen all the time. And he'd be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, don't you have a phone? Ask Google. And it's not that I didn't want to answer the question. It's this thing. Learn.
Sure.
Don't sit here and scroll through videos and be like, I'm a zombie. I'm a zombie. Learn. Well,
the videos is a problem. I mean, that is a huge problem. But and I'm not saying kids can't use a calculator, but like they need to learn the math so they know, so that they understand. And I'll tell you what, just asking your math question to ChatGPT and then writing down the answer, that's not learning it at all. That's not learning any of it.
No, that's not learning how to do that math. But I'm not one of those people that needs to know that skill on how to do all that advanced calculus. I have a tool
Wow.
that I can ask the question and it will give me the answer and do that for me. If I got into a job where I
Most
needed
people-
to do that advanced calculus on a daily basis, then yeah, I would probably learn how to do it.
I mean, I don't think we exactly agree on this, but that's okay. Okay, so one other dimension about this, about the kids these days, is that in the school, right, you have the schools with the standardized testing and all of that. What you have is teachers that maybe are not, they're giving curriculums, they're giving standards they need to meet, they're giving assignments or whatever, but they're not necessarily building the capacity of self-education, self-learning, and creative, opportunities for real creative growth and structure, not from a nefarious reason, but from like they have so many other things that they have to do that they're doing the details and they're not necessarily creating the superset of skills of like, oh, I don't have that or know what I'm doing, but I know how to go learn it and figure out how to make it. So, I think it's, I don't really think it's a nefarious, like, oh, it's by design thing. I think it's by circumstance. And like, and because the people that are trying to solve this other problem of like, how do we get 10,000 kids through the school system and make sure that 80% of them can read? Or whatever the percentage is, because I don't know what the percentage
I
is.
see what you're saying, but I think
it's a mass problem.
No, I see what you're saying, but I don't agree with you at all. I look at it a different way, and I know that you don't. I know that you don't think that it was by design. You think it's like you said, like by circumstance, and I think that that's just a beautiful veil that they don't want you to see through.
Who's they, though?
Pay no attention
Who's
to the
they?
guy behind. Rockefeller and freaking what's his name back in the late 1880s completely changed our freaking education system.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want to get into this because first
right.
of all, I've been sick for a week and a half and my brain's not really working that much.
All right.
And second, I don't have all my facts down on this yet that in order to debate you. Because
I'm not trying to debate. I honestly don't know entirely about it. I know that we have like a Germanic based education system or whatever. I think we need to have more. I will say this. This is what I'm going to say. I think having a monolithic, everybody do the same system.
Take this thing down. I can't see your face. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't have any permissions. I can't see anything.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Here you go. I do think that it's bad for us to have a monolithic system where everybody has to do the same thing. I think we are overall better off if we have a bunch of different kind of school systems that do different things and we just see what works. So, there's this other story that I saw yesterday in past. Come on, fucking mouth. Sorry, language. Saw this story. There was a trooper in Kansas rescued a 6-year-old girl during a traffic stop. A Kansas highway trooper. Now this is on New York Post, so it's going to cause all kinds of ad problems and auto video play. Kansas Highway Patrol trooper pulled over an SUV for a traffic violation, discovered that the front seat passenger had a warrant for his arrest from another state for kidnapping a 6-year-old girl a month earlier. The trooper spotted the girl around the age inside the vehicle with the passenger and the driver, both men in their 60s, Highway Patrol said. It was discovered that the driver had a criminal history, which included homicide and numerous weapons violations. The trooper, with the help from a local sheriff's deputy, secured both men before safely removing the girl from the vehicle. So a random traffic stop ended up with a Kansas City trooper rescuing a kidnapping victim.
Now, doesn't it concern you? Doesn't it concern you that a random traffic stop can find a little girl and a person like this? I mean, that shouldn't happen. What are the mathematical odds of that happening? unless there is a lot more of them out there than we think.
Oh, there certainly is. Yeah, there certainly is a lot more. There a lot more human trafficking, a lot more slave. You know, there's more, and I know you know this. There's more slavery today than there has ever been in the history
of humankind. Yeah,
and there's a lot of there's a great deal of human trafficking. Now, it is not surprising that a person who is a criminal, including homicide, kidnapping, etc., it's not surprising that that sort of person would also either not have their plates up to date on their car, or be speeding, or have other traffic violations. So, you know, a criminal also has other criminal things, has other traffic violations, which puts them in a slightly higher than average category of being at risk for a traffic violation and getting pulled over. But I mean, your point is sound. Like, there's a lot of it. There must be a ton of it out there. So I mean, and that trooper, you know, unwittingly, he was just probably pulling somebody over, unwittingly put himself in tremendous danger. We have two people that are, you know, obviously kidnappers. That I don't know about the second identity of the second person. They're obviously an accomplice to a person who is a wanted on homicide or has a record of homicide. So, you know, law enforcement officers, they put themselves at risk to do stuff. I mean, I just think it was pretty cool that a police officer saved a little girl. It could have gone real bad the other way. Okay, I'm gonna close this story. You know, you ever heard that, like, like you have one sneeze and it's and the amount of pleasure that you can get from one sneeze is like very high. Like, if you really have to sneeze, and I use that photonic response sometimes, and I'm like, I stare at the sun or a bright light, and I'm like, sneeze, I got it out. When you're on your 20th sneeze, there's no pleasure at all in sneezing. It's it's so terrible.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, the terror campaign on Tesla is ongoing, and Austin police have safely removed firebombs from a Tesla store. So the Austin Police Department removed 2 incendiary devices from a Tesla store along Highway 183 yesterday, just after 8 a.m. The bombs were part of a national terror campaign by Democrats against Tesla in an effort to pressure Elon Musk to step down from the Trump administration. So it's not a threat of firebombs. They safely removed actual firebombs. So we need to very publicly and what do you call it? We need to very publicly, like, put some of these people in prison for a long time.
Yeah, you know what we don't have anymore? We don't have those freaking public shackles that you can put them in on the public square where they've got to sit there and you can go by and throw tomatoes and crap at them and punch them in the face. Public shaming. You don't have that anymore because, that's brutal. That's brutal, but it got the job done. So how do you do that? How do you do that today? You throw them in jail and you put their face everywhere. You start, look, this is what happens when you do this. Like that picture of that stupid kid that, hang on, where is it at? I think it's in our memes. I'm going to show it because I think it's hilarious. Of his big fat crying face because he got caught firebombing a freaking Tesla or whatnot. Here, look at this. Yeah, here's.
I got you in political protest.
Yeah. Look at you, big bad guy. And that's what we need. You need public shaming. This. Don't dox people. That's not. Shut up. That's that obviously has not been working. Okay. Sometimes you need to look. Sometimes you need to call somebody a retard.
Yeah, that guy's gonna get porked in prison though. Like, it's gonna happen.
So did you go watch Snow White?
No,
Off-White and the 7 pronouns?
No. You
I
know
haven't
what?
seen any numbers. They didn't have any numbers yesterday. Did you notice?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hold on.
no. The only
look.
ones that I
Give me a
could
second.
find was early numbers Thursday had 3.4 million. No numbers over the weekend numbers like they
Hang on.
normally do. They
I'm gonna
did
get
not
you.
release them. You couldn't
Let's
find
see.
the numbers.
Box office weekend chart. Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs opened over the weekend. $42 million. $42 million. Let's see. What's
42
another?
million.
Let's compare that to how do we compare that to what would we
cost
compare
what?
it to?
With everything total, it was they needed to make like $300 or $400 million on the opening weekend.
Well, the production budget of Snow White and the Seven
Like 200
Dwarfs,
million, wasn't it?
269 million. And the math on movies goes like this. Whatever the production budget is, you add 50% for marketing. So $270 million, you're going to add another $135 million for marketing. So for that movie to break even, it needs to make over $400 million. It is not going to make over $400 million.
I don't think it is.
And in 8 weeks, it'll be on Disney Plus, or 6 weeks or whatever. It's not going to.
That's how they'll try to make more money out of it.
Yeah.
They'll offer it as an incentive on Disney Plus and offer some, just watch it, all the little deals and stuff that start coming out on all their, they got to make up for this.
So Snow White is a live action remake of a.
We know what it is.
Yeah, so similar movies include Mufasa, The Lion King, and let's say
Right.
Little Mermaid. So let's add those. Little Mermaid's budget was $250 million, just in the ballpark, and that movie opened at $95 million, and then only was able to
had a lot of backlash too because they made Ariel black.
And it did have a little bit of a pushback on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it opening at 95 ended up net domestic box office 298. That's not enough money.
No.
This movie cost more and opened at half that amount.
What was the Lion King?
The Lion King cost $200 million and opened at 35, ended up pulling in 253 million overall. So it still it was not profitable in domestic box office, because it would have had to probably make 400 million, 300 million to like break even or whatever. But worldwide box office on Mufasa, The Lion King, was 716 million. So it did ultimately make money. A Little Mermaid worldwide box office was not
on The Lion
high.
King. You didn't have as many. I mean, you all you had was voice act. I mean, actors as voice actors, but you don't have to pay them as much if they're voice acting.
Right, but it does cost a lot to make cats look like they're talking or whatever. So they obviously
budget. So
they could have saved.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you've seen the trailer for this thing, they could have saved so much money by hiring actual dwarves to play the dwarves.
Yeah, but thank goodness Peter Dinklage opened his mouth.
Yeah, but Peter Dinklage ruined it for everybody.
Such a lovely guy. Disney's fixing to make a lot of money though on Lilo and Stitch remake.
You think so?
Absolutely. This one's going to be.
I don't get these movies.
This one's going to be a big one. I'm predicting it right now. This one's going to be their biggest. This will be one of their biggest live action remakes. This Lilo and Stitch.
I have not watched a single live action movie that was a remake of a cartoon that I've been like, well, that was better.
No, I mean, it's not going to be better. It's going to be a remake. It's a retelling and a remake. And look, it's live. But let me tell you,
which one
Lilo and Stitch, the cartoon, is a great little cute little. I mean, I would still watch the hell out of it today. It's such a cute little cartoon. I've seen it a million times. And this remake, I, as a 48-year-old Southern white man, would consider maybe going to the movies and watching Lilo and Stitch, the live action.
I don't know who these movies are actually for, and I'll tell you why. I have kids, I have kids that are in the target demo, 6, 7 years old. You know what they like to watch? Cartoons. You know what they don't like to watch? Adults. At all. They're not interested in this stuff. And the live action, like, what's the one where Beauty and the Beast? Scary. It's scary to them. They don't want to see that. No. Now, I am overall not interested in any of these. However, there's one movie that I would be like, that might be good because it's actually a really good movie. Disney's Treasure Planet. Have you ever seen Disney's Treasure Planet?
I thought they were doing it.
Are they really?
I thought they were.
Treasure Planet, not Treasure Island. Are they doing Treasure Planet?
Treasure Planet. I think they're doing
Really?
Treasure Planet. Yeah. I honestly, because I was like, geez, they're redoing everything.
Live action Treasure Planet.
Maybe I was thinking about, or maybe I saw a. Hell, I thought I watched like a freaking long ass movie trailer on it. It must have been a fake AI movie trailer.
Oh, okay. The Treasure Planet's a great movie, but you know what? It doesn't even need to be live action. It's just good. It's just a good cartoon. Yeah, I don't care about Disney. Disney's got a real problem. And they have an additional problem on this Snow White movie because one of the cast is Israeli and is totally like save the hostages, and the other one is Palestinian and is like it will always be free Palestine. So they have this like subtext of like Israel Hamas, like nobody's in favor, and then they don't have the dwarves, they don't have the Israelis, they don't have the Palestinians because both of them are against the other person in the movie, and you don't even have kids because it's adults. Like kids don't want to see this stuff. It looks terrible too. The cartoon dwarves, if you've seen their dwarves, they don't look good. This is whatever. Good luck, Disney. What else do you got? Oh, I got a robot story if you're interested. Except we have 10 minutes left. Let's see. How do I get rid of this ad? Go away, ad. Here we go. Tesla is aiming to produce its first legion of Optimus robots this year.
That's awesome.
Tesla initially announced Optimus during its AI day in 2021, and that time it only had a mock-up of the robot and a literal person in a suit to demonstrate what it could look like. However, since then they've had a lot of progress with several dozen humanoid robots interacting with attendees at Cybercab's unveiling last year. Remember, they have the Tesla robot cab. Musk clarified that Tesla is internally aiming for enough parts to produce 10,000 to 12,000 Optimus robots this year. However, since Optimus is a completely different product, even half of the 10,000 units would be a huge victory for Tesla. They say Tesla also plans to ramp Optimus to a notable degree in 2026, with aiming for 50,000 units or 10 legions of humanoid robots next year. So next year they're hoping to have. So 5,000 human, and so you have like, let's say 500 of those all together are bought by billionaires to be like an extra butler in their house or whatever. And then the rest of them are going to go to like work at a warehouse or something like that. Don't you imagine
so?
That don't you think
so?
They're
going into a warehouse and to billionaires?
You have limited quantity.
Cute. That's cute.
You have limited quantity.
Uh-huh.
So, normal Joes can't buy themselves a robot.
You think they're going to be offered to anybody but the military? Do you think the military doesn't have first choice on what they want before they're even offered to anyone?
I'm sure that Raytheon and
how many legions? 10 legions.
Oh my God.
Of automated robots. Sounds pretty.
All right. No. The military is probably more interested in a Boeing designed military robot.
Right.
And I'll tell you why.
Right. They don't care
because you can
just one thing.
Because when a leg or an arm falls off,
right.
They can just put another. They'll just do it like C3PO style, where you can just slap some other parts on there and they'll call it like, oh, we can customize it for the mission, but really it's just falling apart. You just throw some stuff back together. And you know,
Good
Boeing
idea.
part. I can imagine a Boeing robot marching through the woods with a gun, and as it's going so fast, its arms just fall off. I guess it's not that funny. All right, that's all I've got. I think. If I had anything else, it's not that important.
All right, let's wrap it up early. We don't have to extend this crap.
No. Our foray into Facebook didn't work this morning, but I'm sure it'll work tomorrow.
Let's hope not.
Listen, Deke, think long term here. You want it? Nah, you want to have an audience that will buy your book whenever you launch the web app. So if we have an audience, yeah, you do want people to buy your book, sir.
I don't.
That's how it works.
Okay, awesome. You got a joke?
You don't want people to buy your book. Why would you not want people to buy?
I don't want to be on Facebook.
Well, I don't want to be on Facebook either.
Shit on Facebook.
Okay,
it's not a big deal.
A police officer caught 2 kids playing with fireworks in a car battery. He charged one and let the other off.
All right. Someone just called my phone. They sneeze, they cough, they hung up. I'm getting tired of these cold calls. Yay. Thank you.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your dog